Me too. I fucking won spelling bee competition. I blew my dad away every morning while he's shaving as I'm sitting on the toilet. Every fucking word. There's 3 rows of words, and I never missed one of them, man. Spelling champion, but I fucking couldn't do math to save my life.
All right, so we're live. A little bit of inspiration. We're going to talk about what are you doing? You say you want something, but what are you doing about it? Will and I were just talking about how when people tell him what they want out of life, he'll check them and say, hey, well, what did you do about that? Are you going home and watching Netflix? So let's get into a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's like, my job's the best place, just a regular job. Work at Lowe's. Probably, I don't know if I should say that. It's too late now. I work at Lowe's in Kentucky. And
There's a lot of them.
what?
There's a lot of them, so you'll be okay.
Yeah, Lowe's in Kentucky. Come check me out. So it's just a good place to see people that are just stuck in the rut of a 2-week paycheck and the tunnel vision that this is what they want, or no, this is all they really think they can achieve, getting stuck in this rut. So I'd be going to work and I'd be asking people, like, what do you want to do? Like, why are you? I'll even ask them, like, why are you here? You know what I mean? Not to put anybody down, but I like talking to people about what they want to do, and wonder why they're not doing it. And it works out every time. I asking people, what do you want to do, and they'll tell me, and then I'm like, well, what do you do when you leave here? And I'll specifically say, go home and watch Netflix. And they'll look at me like, oh.
Because they do.
You're absolutely, the break room goes silent.
Because that's the shit. Like, Game of Thrones, motherfucker, yeah.
Everyone's doing the same. So bad, these guys are playing video games together. All night long. They're in the break room playing video games, and I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Just some of us inspire to do a lot more,
Well, there is if you're saying you want something. If you're saying to everybody, I want to do this, you want to be a race car driver, yet you sit down and play, Call of Duty for fucking 16 hours, then you don't really want that.
Really, it comes down to you don't want it bad enough. But I like to kind of try and enlighten people, man. Well, why aren't you doing it? And then they're like, they'll give me all the excuses. Well, I don't know where to start. I don't know where am I going to get the money and all this stuff. And then of course I'm just shotgunning shit out. But to you listening, it's like, well, none of that really matters. Because the biggest secret that nobody wants you to know, nobody meaning the higher people that are, control the monopoly that controls most everything. The biggest secret they don't want you to know is 99.9% of achieving what you want in life is to think about it and believe you can achieve it. And get obsessed with it by thinking about it all the time and have zero doubt you can get it. Not even all that how and all the other stuff that is keeping them at their job and getting a paycheck is completely irrelevant.
Because the how
it just blows their minds. Like, what do you?
A lot of times the how, like, I like to know the how, but at the same time, I realize me being a victim of the how is like, you want to know how, and a lot of times the how and not being able to figure out how it works will actually make you feel like it's not possible. And so then you don't go for it because you're just trying to figure out fucking how, as opposed to just fuck the how, and that's a tough thing to overcome. It's like,
yeah, some of them, I tell some people and they're like, you know what? But I have to explain to them why it's irrelevant, and what they're thinking is going to do compared to that. Meaning, if you just get obsessed with what you want and all that stuff, think about it all the time, believe you can achieve it, and feel good every time you think about it, then pay attention and you'll start noticing the how will start showing up in your path. You're not smart enough to know how, but in your process of thinking about what you want and enjoying it and feel good enough or feeling good about it, those hows and those ways that you can achieve it will start, come with more thoughts. I've done this to somebody in the break room one time, and all of a sudden as soon as they started thinking, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. Start thinking about it, all of a sudden, I could do this. I could do this. All of a sudden, they start thinking of ways to make it happen in split seconds. And I'm just like fired up now. I'm about to stand on top of these tables and start preaching with that kind of stuff happening. You know what I mean? So it's just exciting to see people be able to just change immediately from, well, this is what I want, but I don't think I don't know how to go about getting it, so I don't start, and I'm just stuck here. And then to talk to them and for them to be like, and then start the processes in their own head, coming up with ways to make it happen. That's exciting shit.
A lot of times your mind too, the more you think about it, the more you believe and you do the belief system piece first, the more your mind, and I notice that with the funnels for me, the more I keep thinking about it, the more I think it's possible, the more I feel good about it, the more my mind or universe or whatever you want to attach as far as a word to it starts to connect the dots for me, and I start to come up with new ideas and the hows just start coming to you. But there's the thing is, once you figure out the how, you can't be playing 16 hours of fucking Call of Duty. You got to get your fucking ass up, and there's got to be processes in place of you going towards what you're doing. Like you ask, even though it's 99.9% of thinking, there's still the part where you have to actually do it, and it has to be part of your DNA. Every day you're doing something towards that, and if you're not and you're sitting around, how much are you really thinking about it if you're doing something other than an action towards it? Because I know when I'm doing an action towards something, if I'm taking action, I'm only thinking about that, right? So because if I'm playing Call of Duty, I mean, are you really thinking about what you're trying to do? Say if your new thing you want to do is become an artist, unless you're trying to figure out how this game works and how it's put together and figure out and study the graphics, that's a whole nother deal, unless it's for study purposes. But my thing is what is your daily processes? A book I've been reading the last week is like real big on like your daily process. Like there's processes in place. You got to get up, and there's this time, and you have a goal set for the day to get these things done. A lot of times having that great mindset and being excited about these things will pull you off your ass and pull you into what you're trying to do and make you want to do it. If you're not excited about it, it's much harder to get in the fucking driver's seat and start going towards your destination. You have to be pumped about where you're going, and every day it's got to be that. And then you have to also understand and want it enough for the days you don't feel it and you can't fucking cheerlead for yourself to still sit in that seat and go do it anyway. You know what I mean? Until you get back in the groove again. I found that with myself. Like, fuck, it's just a lot easier to sit here. They just put the Chappelle Show, all 3 seasons on Netflix. It would be real easy to just sit down and watch fucking all 3 seasons because he's my favorite comedian forever. Because my favorite shit is comedy, and it's like it'd be real easy to do that, and I just turn it off and start editing the videos that I need to do because I know I've got to do it. It's part of the processes. But what helps me do that is that big, belief system. Like you say, when you ask them, they say, I want this. Well, cool. Does it make you feel like this? Those kind of things are huge. You have to be doing every part of it, from mind to daily processes.
It's funny how these people don't even have a clue. It's not funny actually, or just their mindsets are just stuck in the, I don't know where to begin. Therefore, I'm already here. Might as well just keep getting this paycheck and keep paying my rent and keep living this whatever. But not everyone's like that. Some of them are like, wow, I have to share this, man. I was talking to this girl at work now leading up to this. Me and her, we were kind of bonding on the positivity every time I walk by her, because she asked me, people ask me, hey, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm amazing. You know what I mean? I'd be shocking customers with that stuff. And even employees, like, I'm amazing. The managers are like, damn, every time. I'm freaking amazing and doing better and getting, and it's just funny. It's a shock to people's, but me and her were like, she was like, oh yeah, and all about it, So every time we seen each other, we were, what's up? She's like, oh, I'm great, and it was just super cool. But anyways, so one day, I don't know, she was sitting at the table and I just compelled to talk to her. So I asked her, well, hey man, so what's up with you? What do you want to do? Like, what are your goals in life? And she told me, uh, and I said, well, why aren't you doing it? Or are you doing it? And she's like, well, I don't know how. Soon as it happens every single time too. I know exactly what they're gonna say, and I'm just waiting. I'm putting together all this stuff I'm about to murder her with real quick. So okay, back. So I don't know how, and I'm like, well, uh, all of that is completely irrelevant. The how, and a lot that is it was a challenge for me to grasp it at first too, but not very long, but it's because I was made for this material. But explaining to her that if she just focuses on what she wants, you actually clearly define what she wants, get obsessed with it by thinking about it all the time, have zero doubt you can achieve it, and feel good when you think about it. The how, all of a sudden, people, events, circumstances, situations will start coming into your life that'll show you how to go about what you want, or showing you that you're on the right path. We can talk about this in our own, and my own current path, all the stuff dropping to know I'm on the right path. But and it's just really, so she was excited, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh my gosh. And this, like, she was feeling it, right? Because I've already built this whole positive rapport thing, and then be able to show her all these podcasts, this daily takeoff show. She's like, oh, you're all about it, right? And so then I was like, so check it out. I'm about to blow your mind. Because I was feeling really good about, I just love this material. So I was like, look, and she was like, tell me. I was like, look, I'm going to blow your mind right now. And I was like, you think that is what you want. But then I asked her, why do you want it? And then she gave me an answer, and it wasn't quite what I was expecting from her yet. But I'm going to dig it out of her, because everything comes down to a feeling, right? So I kept asking her, finally she said, because it will make me feel good to be able to help these kids out from my country, to have food and this and that, and it'll make her feel good. And I was like, bam, that's what you need to concentrate on, and let God in the universe, or whatever you believe in there, let them bring into your life what will make you feel that way. And she was like, cool, blown away. It's not even a business she wants, right? Because she thinks that's the path. She thinks what she really wants is this feeling of going back and helping out her country and the young people, so they didn't have to go through the things that she's been through, right? The feeling of being that person is what's motivating her to start this business and do these things. So I'm like, it's not even starting a business. It's not even starting this business that you really want. You you really want this feeling of helping people and going back and doing, and being that role model for these people. And she was completely blown away. And she ended up quitting that day later in the afternoon. And I'm just like, and she's young. She could always go get a job, but she was adamant, like, Will, you know, uh, I am gonna go I'm gonna follow my dreams and chase this feeling. And I'm at a good position. I don't really have to be here, but this is exactly what I needed to hear to make the move I needed to make me happy and follow my bliss and do what I want to do. And it was super, I don't know, it was amazing, and uh I'm very happy for her, and I know she'll do well. But just to have somebody just take action like that and just be like, no, I you know I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And I needed to have this conversation with you, to have the guts to go to go for it. I have people I can stay with that'll help me. I just figured this is what I needed to do, that this and that. And it was super inspiring to see somebody in one day just through our conversation go and chase her dream. It was super awesome, and it just, for me, it just shows that, you know, this information is so important in my life that now I'm starting, and it's so, what do you call it, soaked into my system, that it's starting to touch other people when I'm talking about it. And that's really makes me feel good. It makes me feel so good that I'm almost changing up some of my stuff. Like, man, this is what makes me feel good. Maybe I just want to feel good helping people, and whatever it is that is, bring it right. So it almost makes me kind of change a little. What do I really want? Is it really all these things I want that are so that a lot of it is material? I do have some feelings caught up in these things I'm chasing as well, because I know how it works. But now my dreams are getting bigger, helping other people go chase their dreams. You can't really put any price or anything on that. It just feels good, and I feel like I'm starting to see a little bit of my calling with helping people. Uh, because that was super inspiring for me.
Yeah,
As
anytime you're building yourself up, um, you find yourself. I mean, the more, like, for me, I'm 100 books in of kind of like, not self-help books, but like things just to be a better human being, up my level of knowledge, all types of things, just making me just having more knowledge. And it's funny because I'm a better dad because of it, a better husband. I mean, you're a better friend in a sense. And the same thing with you. You're so into the information that you're able to help people through their things, that, like, you have myself. You know what I mean? It's just, hey man, oh, you're going through this. Well, boom, 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 and this person doesn't necessarily have to read all the books. You're able to weed through all of it and then prescribe the specific part of those books, those conversations, those friendships, whether it was Phenom or whoever, and take those pieces and glean from them, and then say, hey, this is actually this chunk of information you need right now for this specific situation, and be able to apply that to that conversation, and then help a person like that girl go, hey, this is what I want. Boom, I quit. I'm gonna go do what I want with my life, and that's pretty fucking awesome. And for yourself, who you got to realize, you always liked helping people. What was your favorite thing to do? You like to help kids. You taught how many kids to swim, and how many times did these kids, grow up to be 20 years old and go give you hugs in the mall, and you're like, who are you? Oh, remember me? I was in your swimming class. You've always liked to do that.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty big when you get into this information, how much it reaches way past yourself and your own, say, goal to grow yourself. You're actually able to help other people grow and get through things as well by having the information alone, you know.
I can't even tell you what it felt like, man. It felt just to listen to her and how excited, how excited she was to be now taking the steps on what I mean, she had it. I mean, I asked her name and she told me her name, and I asked her what she wanted. She spitted it out like her own name. She knew what she wanted to do, right? You know, but to just her telling me that our conversation is all she needed to hear to know I can feel comfortable about moving forward with this. I know what I want. And I feel good when I'm thinking about it. Obviously, she's doing cartwheels right in front of me, right? Telling me that this is what she's going to do. And she's just so thankful, you know, that I turned around and said something to her. You know, that stuff, I mean, that's pretty, I don't know, that was super cool, man. And I
Well,
want to
you
do
have to be a little bit
it.
bold as well. You got to be a certain kind of personality. You can't just have this information. You got to be built to deliver this information as
Oh, I'm
well.
pretty enthusiastic person.
Yeah, well, but you
One
can't.
of my
It's
things
not just
that
enthusiastic. You have to be bold enough to challenge a person and risk it being a not so comfortable conversation or a little bit more awkward. You have to be that kind of person to deliver that kind of information. So there's something to be said about being able to do this, because you can have all this information in the world, but if you don't know how to articulate, speak to a person, and then be willing to say, hey, I don't care how uncomfortable you get about it, I'm going to challenge you saying this is what you want, and then make you think about it, you know. And then if you have to overthink it and it's going to challenge you, you might not like me at the moment, but that all that stuff is that's what it takes. Like, you could have just been a guy in the aisle with this girl, she says something to you, oh, that's cool, right on, go for your dreams, and move on, you know. Instead of challenger
oh,
saying, well, what, you know, like, you're like, no, I'm gonna break this down, I'm gonna crumble it, and you're gonna build it back up, and then and really dissect this thing and reverse engineer your whole shit, you know.
I completely did. It was funny is she was sitting there and I was in my head. In my head, I was like, I'm gonna ask her, and I'm gonna flip this whole day on her in my head. Is what I'm thinking. And then I turned around, and you know, I just and I almost stopped. Right, I stopped. I was like, I stopped at the whole, you know, coming in your path. How does it matter? I turned back around, right, and then I'm thinking, and that was it. She was just like, oh my gosh, you know. And then I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, no, I'm gonna blow her mind with this shit. You know what I mean? So I turned around and she's like, "Come on," you know. She was so freaking ready, right? That's why I mean she was a little easier than most because she's like, "Come on, blast me," because what you just told me completely changed my whole thing. So then I told her I'm about to blow your mind, and she was like, "Come on," and then I hit her with this, not even a business you want, you know, and I don't know, it was super, it was inspiring. You know, I want to fucking be on stage and be blasting this shit. I mean, it's already been done, but there you go, doubt right there. But you know, I think, you know, a good with my personality and stuff. I think I could touch people too, and not from the point of being rich when I start talking about it. I'm coming with pockets that aren't fat, coming with it, and they're gonna watch me grow because I'm doing a lot of shit. You know, not even a lot. It's narrowed down now, but yeah, I mean, some pretty exciting stuff. Wait till you guys hear this audio, but it's dope. But anyways, like, this is I don't know, good topic here, but we should recap a little bit. Like the house, man, it doesn't matter really. I mean, well, it does matter because you have to take some sort of action. I didn't even we're not even getting to that point. You know, we should.
That's
Uh,
kind of how we started it, which was, you know, what do you do? Are you at home, you
oh
know,
yeah, yeah,
watching
yeah, that
Netflix, you
right.
know?
Yes. I talk a lot about the thinking and the thinking and the thinking because that's all I do is think about it. I'm a little different, but you do have to take action or nothing will happen.
Or
you
it's just
know,
or it stays a dream. I mean, if you want it to become reality, you
it
gotta
stays,
come to reality and put in some effort.
it's got,
And the work is gonna be grueling and fucking hard. Period. Like whatever it is you're wanting, it's clearly gonna be big. Because if it's easy, you would already have it and have obtained it. So you
yeah,
have
I
a
don't
big
really think
mindset.
that way. I don't believe that. It doesn't have to because if you can find what you love to do, it's not that hard, to be
It's
honest.
hard in the sense of it's going to take a lot of your time. It's going to take a lot of effort. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to move apart from other things. And sure, those sacrifices aren't a big deal. Like me, I don't give a shit about friendship, and so it's not a big sacrifice to me. I feel like a big deal. But it's still there's a lot of things that are going to be challenging at first, like weeding out all your friends that are like, "Come on, let's go out. It's Friday night. Let's go." And you're like, "No, I got to stay back and do something towards whatever it is you're going for." Look at anybody successful, and I guarantee that everybody looks at like what their mindset was and what their achievement was. You look at what it was, the iceberg above the water. Nobody wants to look at how many fucking hours and days of being broke and eating top ramen and doing whatever it is that they were doing that took them to get to that point to achieve it. Everyone just wants to go, yeah, Jeff Bezos, he's just fucking rich, like no, that guy, you don't understand the many years in his garage and people telling him you're an idiot and being up 24 hours in a row, and doing it. People don't look at these people that have achieved something, and they always never want to talk about the work that they put in. They only want to talk about their mindset and all that's just like, hold on, it's not all just dream about it and have that. If you don't have the dream part, you aren't going to ever do it. But same thing. But at the same time, anybody you look at that's achieving anything near what you did, you have to look at it. Everybody wants to talk about Jordan and how he shot more shots in his head than he ever shot on the court. Well, that doesn't mean that you don't get to shoot the fucking 20,000 shots he shot that day physically. He also did shoot 20. You like go, well, then that means I don't have to work out. That means I just sit there and think about all the shots I'm making in my head. It's like, well, they go hand in hand. The guy still, jammed his fingers on the basketball and freaking shot 5,000 jumpers in the gym, and there's so much more. Will, you didn't become badass at basketball by thinking about it.
No,
You were in the gym. All you did was that. You didn't jump a
it,
360 dunk. How many miles did you run in the fucking goddamn strengthening shoes? You ran more miles than they suggested. In fact, they suggested you shouldn't run that many miles in those fucking things, and you still did. So people only want to say, "Oh, he could 360 dunk," and well, how'd you do it? Well, I just thought about it all the time. It's like people only ever want to talk about the mindset and look at the success. They never want to think about their journey of and how many hours and sacrifice they put in. You're going to have to mirror that a little bit. You can't just say it's all I visualized. It's like, well, they visualized, and there were those days where they couldn't pay their bills and were broke and lived in their car for a while. There's all these other aspects, that you got to remember.
there,
Your story will, when you hit what is the equivalent of what people will look at as, holy cow, how do I get there? It doesn't come without, I lived in my fucking car to achieve this. I had to fucking fail a couple of times and then learn from the fails. It doesn't come without that. People will discount that and automatically think, no, I just think about it, because all will talk about will be how his mindset was. But well, let's talk about the days of saying, fuck it, I quit this job. I'm going to go start my own recording studio. I don't give a fuck how. We're just going to do it. And if that was a step towards whatever you're doing, but it didn't look the way you thought it should look, and it turned into something different, and it's the fact that you made the decisions and then you went through these things, and the same thing with me. It's like, oh, you got with Snoop, so you were famous after that, right? It's like, no, no, not at all. In fact, they fucked me, and I learned from my mistake, and then there I was on another 10 fucking some odd year road, figuring out how to get back on the fucking right track again. But like these videos that you're about to see, the AWACS project come out with, these motherfucking things didn't just happen. These were fucking literally. I've had 6 months away from a regular job to be able to achieve them in the first fucking place, and then I committed all that time, 16 fucking hours, days of grueling. Your eyes are starting to see spots and crazy shit to achieve it. It's like it takes that time. But yes, I have to sit down and really fucking think and think about. So these things go hand in hand, and I think a lot of times people only want to see the mindset behind it, the belief system, and it's like, people, I believe in God. God blessed me. It's like, well, God blessed you, but you did bust your ass out there to get where you're going. You did put in your 10,000 hours of whatever, to become that level. That well, did you hang out at school? It's like all these rock bands. Most of those kids were nerds and were stuck in their bedroom, didn't have friends, got really badass at an instrument. They weren't out partying and hanging. All the Motley Crue guys that were like, girls, girls, girls. They're like, yeah, they were party animals, and then all of a sudden they became rock stars. It's like, no, no. All those guys were dorks who had an instrument. They probably played a fucking recorder or a flute in a fucking college band or a high school band, and then kept jamming on their little guitars, got really good at their instruments, didn't get invited to parties, and then became really dope at them, and then put on some fucking wigs and hair and eyeliner and spandex, and then became fucking Motley Crue. They didn't get badass at those instruments while they were partying. They had to sacrifice. So people don't ever look at any of that other I'm in the trenches busting my ass part. That it's again, they only want to think about the 10,000 shots that Jordan shot with his head, well, and his mind. It's like, well, he also shot real shots as well.
Yeah. I don't. I do. I don't talk about the action enough because I'm all about the mindset shit. And it didn't. I. It's different now because it is. It's almost. It's not almost. Uh, it's what are you willing to give up to actually achieve what you want? In my training, it was you know just to learn the information, but it should be more like what are you willing to give up to actually achieve the things that you want is where this should be, because you are going to have to give up everything. Just hopefully though you're chasing, but here's the thing: when it's something that you love to do, it's a lot easier at first. This is what I've been going through. It's easy at first, but I be hitting blocks, man, where I'm like, I don't want to do none of this shit. You know what I mean? I almost kind of, I be hitting blocks sometimes too. Not really like no one's gonna read my shit, so no one's gonna listen to it. Not really those kind of blocks. It's just I don't know, man. Like something in my DNA be like fighting me with some of this shit sometimes, and I have to really uh, concentrate on what I want. I tell you what, going to work every day is a great experience of making sure I come home and do what I need to do because I'm not trying to go back, you know, ever. But action is the nothing will happen if I didn't take the actions to quit my job and open that recording studio. There wouldn't even be this podcast right now. We probably I know I wouldn't be on this podcast. you
Well,
know
even like writing your book, it didn't just happen because you thought about writing a book. Your book never started to happen until you actually sat down and fucking started writing it. Like it didn't happen. You thought about it for many years. How many years did you think about that book? I'll easily put 20 years on it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right. So for
it,
20 years you thought about it, but it never happened until you started actually taking action, setting out time, some section of time during the day to do it, and
I was
realize your
taking
dreams.
I was taking action before then. It just wasn't writing action. I was taking action with the music and recording studio that finally led to me waking up that I don't have to do music to write.
Right, but it wasn't the actual. Well, when I'm talking about specifics, like when you specifically say, "I want to write this book," I want to journal my. I want to write this journal from my
It was already,
childhood.
yeah. Luckily, I already had a journal done, and then I turned it into a book.
Right.
That's oh,
But
she's
but
on.
but but that's the exact thing though. It's like you can think about it all day, but it never actually comes. You could
Incredible.
it'd be a book you were talking about. I'm about to do thing. Now you can say I am an author, and there's a book that actually physically exists, and you can go purchase that book, and you'll
Yeah,
have it. You know that there's a total different things. Whereas you could be
it did
talking for
take,
20 years about it. You know.
and it was not easy. It took an incredible amount of work. It's like the closer I would get to one part, I've realized how far away I am from finishing it, man. And I had to just grind it out. And because I've been wanting to do this for years. You know what I mean? And here I am, that excitement of knowing, hey, I've been wanting to do this, and now I'm doing it. That helped me push through those, oh, is this thing ever going to get done type of situations. And it was an incredible amount of action. And I had to give up a lot of, I mean, I don't I don't know, I had to give up a lot of stuff to finish this book, but there's other things that I've done that I've had to, I don't even want to talk about what I had to give up, man. Um to get here, but I did. But the action, it really is. What are you willing to give up to achieve your dreams? And if you're not willing to give them up, you're never going to achieve anything.
You don't realize what you're going to have to. At one point, I lived in a very social kind of environment where
You're really low.
at one point, can you hear me now? At one point,
You're low.
okay, I'll just turn that up for some reason. It gets quieter. Can you hear me now?
You're low.
Can you hear me now?
You're still the same low on my end. I don't know what's going on anywhere else.
All right, I'll turn this.
But you're not very loud.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? You could hear me.
I can hear you. You're just hella low.
God damn it! All right, I'm gonna put a compressor on myself real fast, and then. But here we go. Oh, that's probably why, because I have this fucking thing on. Apparently, I'll crank this motherfucker right up. Bam. All right. So.
Action is.
Can you hear me now? No. Yeah.
Yeah, you're still low though.
Still low. Still low. Can you hear me now?
No. There you go. You're getting there.
Can you hear me now? Yo.
That's better.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So let's
there
see.
You go.
Okay. Yeah, it's cranked, but we'll figure it out. Fuck it. Can you hear it still like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's cranking. I mean, it's already fucking clipping like crazy. It's probably gonna be all distorted and shit. Okay. So, can you hear me still? I'm just making sure you can hear me on your end.
Yes.
We're good. So, anyway, but I lived in a really social environment, and it was like a type of environment that kind of all I had was friends. It was like, do you want to go dirt biking, camping, snowboarding, snowmobiling, boating, nonstop. We're gonna go ride dirt bikes with our friends or do something every weekend. We're gonna go drinking. We're gonna go to my buddy's a DJ. We're gonna go watch his show, and we're gonna spend that. And so I had all this equipment, and it's like I never could achieve what I wanted to do because I didn't know how to basically say fuck you. I don't want to do it. I don't want to hang out with you guys. I need to do my own shit. I loved hanging out with my friends. It was a great time, but it made it really tough for me to achieve anything I wanted to do, and didn't realize I'm gonna have to sacrifice hanging out with these people where every time they did something, I would have felt like I'm missing out. And I don't want to miss out. I want to fucking hang out, but you have to sacrifice that. And then I moved out of town, and it was like the best thing that happened to me. How many years later was it that I was with Snoop Dogg? It was like maybe 2 years, maybe 2 years. I was already hooked up with Snoop, just like that. It's like I could have stayed in the place I was living in at the time, hanging out and having a great time dirt biking and snowmobiling and doing all that fun stuff and going on trips to Canada and getting cabins and doing all kinds of great fun things to your friends and relationships. But I would have never did the Snoop thing. I would have never had enough time to sit down and really get good at my craft and what I'm trying to do. But it's you're going to be in a situation where at first it is tough to cut out all the stuff and sacrifice what you want to do because you're so used to what you currently have. You currently have, the ability to be with do whatever you want, your comforts, whatever you're used to. You're used to every Wednesday night. I watch this every fucking Friday night. I watch the new Mandalorian episode that's out, and there's all these things you got to learn to do it. And it's like, it's super hard. And like you were saying, at one point you're doing something, you have to gruel past whatever that is. You're going to have times where you're like, I don't think I want it that bad to do this one thing because it's starting to get old to me. But it's like, at some point you have to see it through to not break that promise to yourself, to achieve it, to say, when I say I'm going to do something, I actually follow through, whether I halfway in the middle of it decide, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. Because you'll find yourself on a slippery slope that everything you get into, you're going to do halfway and then having excuses, this isn't for me, and then stop. And then the next thing. And the next thing you know, you're going to be 90 years old and dead. So the thing is, finish that thing. And from that thing, new things will come your way. But you have to pick something and go with something, or time just goes by. The more you sit around and go, well, maybe I want to do that. Well, maybe I want to do that. It's like, what makes you feel good? Ask yourself a few things and go down a path. You know what I mean? And complete it. I firmly believe complete whatever the fuck it is you say you're going to do. Without that, you're just going to watch time go by while you half-ass something. And then eventually anybody who did support you, that you did tell about what it was you were doing and trying to achieve, is going to be like, man, shut the fuck up. We've been hearing you talk that same shit for a long time. I mean, even like my wife, like, I'm like, yeah, no, we're talking 5-year plan, financials. And I'm like, I got this funnel I'm going to do. And she's like, okay. Like, so it's like, she's already like, well, when's the money coming? Because like, you were with Snoop Dogg and you were like doing all this music shit. And then you got this website and then you got these beats on YouTube and it's like going to make you money. And then it's like, you already have these people that once you tell them what you're trying to do, you got to be careful on who you tell what your goals are too, because then then there's a clock on it, and then there's the pressure of it, and then you're gonna like start to feel like, oh fuck, they're gonna expect something. I'll read a book lately, The Fast Lane, and it's like he talks about when he said he's gonna make this book, he shouldn't have told people because all of a sudden they were expecting a book like, yo, when the fuck is this book coming? Like. And then eventually, if he had anything other than to say it'll be out tomorrow, they were like, yeah, right. And he goes, then I had all these people basically saying, no, nay, you're not going to do it. You're a bullshitter. And I noticed that with my wife, like literally saying, I'm going to do this and that. And the only thing that makes me feel good is I know I'm actually every day putting in effort towards what I'm doing. So I don't give a fuck what anybody says. But if I hadn't been doing it, or I had been like kind of dicking the dog, I would have been like, man, I would have felt like shit, like doing it. Like, but now she's like, hey, how many years are you gonna say you're gonna make some shit pop? For me, I'm like, I got my whole life to fucking make it pop, as long as I'm breathing and healthy, I don't give a fuck. But it's there's gonna be sacrifice to get this stuff done. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to do it. For me, it's kid time. For instance, my kids go to bed at the time I start this podcast. You know what I mean? Whereas we used to do it at 10, but somebody needed to be on here earlier and do it on Thursdays and then not show up. But so now I can't normally be able to put my kids to bed, but I have to sacrifice. But you know what? To make this thing happen, kids are going to go to bed without dad, and I'm going to be on this podcast because I firmly believe this podcast, you have the attention of millions of people, and we have value, something to spread from an information standpoint. And you sacrifice hanging with kids. Yeah. Oh, we don't. No, this is going to be a powerful platform.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have nothing really. This is a powerful platform. It's big, but there's sacrifice to doing it. Here's the thing, we could be doing something else right now, but we choose to sit here, feel like our conversations are going to impact somebody, or maybe give somebody a little nudge they need to move on the direction they want to be in. whatever caliber of direction, whatever you feel successful, even in just being a person and existing on this earth, some sort of information. Nothing on here is a negative, like you suck or anything. If it is anything, it's more of a hard love thing. Hey, get off your ass, stop watching freaking Mandalorian, and go get your shit done. Or make the Mandalorian your gift. Your treat for being able to do 6 hours on whatever it was your goal is. Your goal is to be a barber. You practice on your little wig with the hair and you trimmed on it and you did that for 6 hours and did all the different haircuts and you're done. You did your 6 hours. Now it's time to treat yourself and have a beer and watch The Mandalorian. It's a cool show. But it's pretty big. You got to sacrifice. It's just like everything is. I find funny has a parallel to working out. It's like it's real easy to just lay back and go. I'm gonna have just got my kids these snack packs. I'm like, man, that looks good. Eat it. Tastes like shit, but you're thinking, man, pudding. Hell yeah, I'm gonna eat some pudding. And I'm gonna lay around the couch and man, fuck it. I know I need to lose some weight, but I'm gonna go eat some beer. I'm feeling good right now. And then next thing you know, it's easier to do that, but you got to sacrifice that if you want to look great, be healthy, and do that and go work out, physically do something, and it's a lot easier to sit, chill, have your coffee in the morning, but you got to get up, go do your shit, and there's sacrifice, right? You're sacrificing your chill time and relaxing, and you got to get up and work out. I did it the other day. My whole fucking ass, legs, arms, everything's just jacked. I worked out one time for a half hour, and I've been worked for a whole week. Like I literally, can't even get my car right and shit, And it was a girl workout, from Jess's little videos where they'll do like aerobics. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just do this and kick my ass. I can feel my ribs all the way down to my shit, But yeah, you got to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice comfort. Whatever your comfort is. You be comfortable, and then as long as you're comfortable with not achieving what you're going for,
This podcast is a prime example. There's some weeks I don't want to get on here and talk about anything. You know what I mean? Not very often, because I really like this shit. I love talking about this information, but this podcast is a prime example. We have no idea. We're all the time. You guys don't even know what Robert's put in to be able to make this happen, and have no clue where it's going. Have no clue what's going to happen. And yet every week, right? You know what I mean? We don't even know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to be good. Obviously, it's going to be amazing, but we don't know. So now down the timeline, when this does what it's going to do, we're going to look back and be like, thank God we took all that action, because now we have all this material, and now we don't even know how it's going to be used yet.
Yeah,
it's a funny thing, though, because we just had a conversation about this and how past stuff and the action. I can't tell you, man, how much action is important. We just had a conversation a couple weeks ago, which I was inspired for a whole week. And I started thinking about all the actions I've been taking since I was a child, okay? Because there's been so many things, putting all the pieces together a little bit, right? We were talking about how long ago we've taken actions on things. Robert's taking action on something 10 years ago that now is finally realizing why he did that and stuff. And I've been having all kinds of stuff like, wow.
Think about it. If you killed somebody 10 years ago and got away with it at the time, it could catch you. Those little cold cases, it'll catch you 10 years later. That action you took will.
Now we have forensic things.
Yeah.
And you're from something 20 years ago.
But if you did something good as well, Think about just even impacting someone's life 10 years ago, and you just did something amazing to them. They go off and do their own thing, become a billionaire, and you're like, I have a really good invention, but nobody wants to invest in my thing. They look you up, find out you're doing it, and go, man, you changed my life. I became a billionaire. Here, I'll be your venture capitalist, and I'll actually invest in your thing. And then your invention pops off. You don't even know what it's going to be. I started a website that was free to people. I added value, period, take it, and built something to where I can utilize it and springboard off it today to actually save myself years of time. And it's crazy.
10 years ago, it just goes to show you, you took some action, and 10
a lot
years
of action.
later, that action is benefiting what you're doing now. This is how you have, you know, I've been looking at all the things I've been taking action on, all the things that I've started a long time ago, because I'm still kind of doing in the same lane of stuff I've been doing for years, you know, but I've seen the actions I've took are, I can now see why I did them, and how they are not even knowing how much they benefit my current situation, is absolutely completely eye-opening. It's just, it's even without this information, I wouldn't even be able to see it. I'm just glad I'm so glad I have this information so I can even put these puzzle pieces together, and because guess what it does? It's that much more energy to keep freaking going, because the things I've done 10 years ago are magically lining up that I've forgotten about or not even realized why I did that. You know what I mean? I took 19, how many years ago? Watch this. What is it? 2020, 1990. Something I did 23 years ago. I wrote a journal. I wrote a journal on a trip in the middle of the Bering Sea. I went with a friend. 23 years later. It's an extremely interesting book, and it looks cool. And the book's done, I don't even know yet, right? And now we're leading into this comic book and an audio book and all this, and it's just like, I didn't need 23 years ago, right? I took some action that today is boosted everything I'm trying to do right now. It's freaking mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, man. You know, and I guarantee you that journal, writing that journal, I didn't know I wanted to write a book. I just wanted to keep a journal because I wanted to go back and tell my friends, look, this happened, right? That's all I was thinking. I didn't think, oh, I'm going to write a book. It's going to be dope. New York Times. No, I just wanted to keep this so I can tell all my friends when I get back how crazy this shit was on this boat, you know? And bam, now it's a Choose Your Own Adventure book. I'm making an audio book. That's really freaking, I haven't listened to an audio book that the actual author did the audio. I'm the author, and I'm actually doing the audio. It's already makes it so much more interesting when a guy who wrote is actually doing the audio, you know, because I can do my little side things. And then, man, if I add KC in there, this is really going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
23 years, man. So you have to do, man, you don't even have to just do something. It'll come, you know. I'm doing some stuff that is completely different. Not really, I guess, right? Still writing and stuff. But yeah, I had no idea where that was going. And I hate to be a broken record, but 23 years later, it's completely relevant in my life right now. This is so important, how action and how, you know, you don't even have to know where you're going. Just start.
It's crazy because it is just start. Like, I think about like getbeatsforfree.com. I fucking, you know, basically I would spend every day after work. I'd say I get off at 4:30. I'd be back home by 4:30. And I would start on that fucking thing and work till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock every day on it and not know why the fuck I really want to do it. I remember thinking, well, eventually I'll sell beats on it or I'll have it and then somebody will just download these free shits, and then 50 Cent will get on it, and I'll be fucking famous because I'll get a beat that pops off. And I remember the amount of effort it took. I had to finish 200 fucking beats. I mean, sit down and finish all these fucking things, pick them, and I'd make decisions like, this sucks, this is good. And at that time, most of their stuff sucked really bad. But it's like, get those done, mix them. Don't even know how to mix, but fucking mix them. Don't know how to build a website. Learn the code. Learn to fucking do all this stuff. And I remember every day, I might not even be able to get anything to happen. And I just did that relentlessly until it was done with no real like understanding of what the fuck, how. I knew some of what that would benefit me, but I just wanted my website up. I wanted some shit that had it. It was going to look cool. I wanted anything that associated with the S&D brand to be cool. And I did remember the first version looking hella janky. It was off of like an old BlackBerry cell phone with like a negative reverse version of a microphone and blues, and it looks terrible. But it, well, like the first thing was like these links. You could click the link and just download it, and then the new iterations. But it's so crazy because it's just do something, and then all of a sudden new fucking things that open up for me. You know, all of a sudden I'd see some guy out of software where I don't even have to fucking build the website. I just take his template, put it in there, and add all my shit to it. Then I was off and running. You know, it's like, but had I not been just going for it, I'd have never been able to do that. You know, but all that stuff, you know, it's start doing whatever it is you're doing. But you will never start if you don't believe. So that's why we talk so much this information. You have to be hella fucking amped up and pumped about whatever it is and believe that it can happen, or you're not going to take the necessary action, and you're not going to be able to get over the humps. For instance, the stuff that's upside down. Well, if if it's exactly. But the thing is, you have to believe it, and that will help you overcome the parts where it's not fun. I mean, at one point I write in your book, well, I'm sure you're like, man, fuck this. You know, like it's just like, I remember I'm editing my website the first time, and we're like, fuck, I can't even get the fucking thing to look half normal. It like, maybe I should just quit. You know, and it's just like, but the belief system is what helps you get through that, you know, and just keep going and keep going. It's your belief system is a big deal. I mean, I remember even being with Snoop at one point, and still being in the room with Snoop, and still just being like, I can't even believe it. To the point that I got kind of greedy. I wanted more. I wanted to be like, man, fuck hanging out and smoking any weed with your ass. Tell me when I'm signed to this label and it's just gonna pop off for me. Like, I just needed some solid information that no, I made it. You know, that all this was for something. So I didn't even care about like the relationship, which was totally ass backwards and wrong, and that's the reason it didn't work out. But you know, that was my thing, was I have to fucking know that something is working. That all this stuff is means something, and then there's something solid that says I made it. But it's huge to just take some sort of action, add it into your day, get your belief system going. But you have to have a process daily that is pushing you towards where it is you say you want to be, you know. And watching the whole fucking first season of Mandalorian to catch up so you know where you're at on the second season that's just coming out isn't the play for you to achieve what it is you're trying to do. You know, staying up for fucking 16 hours, staying up till fucking 2 a.m. before you have to go to work at 7 isn't the play to be able to have enough energy the next day to apply yourself towards your goal. Playing fucking Call of Duty all night with your homies, you know, on the internet. You know, you're going to have to sacrifice something. But process is huge, and it's like you and Will, when you say to people, you go, cool, so what are you doing about it? You going home watching Netflix? You know? And they go, so you want to be a rap superstar or whatever it would be, but how many bars have you written today? Well, none. When's the last time you wrote a rap? Let's like, get that fuck out of here. You know?
They get it. It's cool. No one's ever, I know there's people that can't stand me there, and that's cool. But most of the times, people like it and are benefiting. I mean, I've had people come back to me and be like, man, so I started doing this and I started doing that, and then they'll tell me, and then all of a sudden, somebody showed up in their life that's talking about the same shit, and they come back to me and they're like, Will, I'm blown away, man. Because they're starting to think different, man. Literally in days, man. This one lady in particular, just super cool chick at work, man. But she just told me, man, that I talked about her what she wanted, and I was so animated, like, man, I wish I was your neighbor. So I could just be like, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? I wish you were my neighbor too. You know what I mean? And then for her to come back and be like, yo, like, it's funny, like the darndest thing. You know what I mean? Darndest thing, like magic. Somebody shows up that's talking about the same thing, and just like solidifying her thoughts and the path of what she wants, right? Just like, wow, it works. It's so exciting, man, to talk to people and to get that kind of feedback, man. I'm really liking it a lot. I talk a little bit too much at work about it, but I can't help it. I just love digging into people and bringing it out of them. And I know exactly what to ask, and I know exactly what they're going to say, man. It's amazing. I can't wait to get more people on here and actually have some conversations like that, with other people. Hey, for those of you tuning in, I hope to see people in these chats, and us really getting down to some cool stuff.
Yeah, it'd be cool to start having people call in and figure out that whole technical nightmare, but it'll be cool.
Oh, those are gonna be crazy. A whole new learning curve. But hey, at least that time, see, these guys didn't want to show the beginning stuff, and I thought that's what makes it cool along the journey, But it's gonna be cool when people start tuning in and we go through that learning curve. All that shit's gonna be live, so we're gonna get all of that.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. A lot of that learning stuff's a lot of the learning stuff's out of it, so it's yeah. It'll be cool to be able to interact and kind of have people.
I just want to see some more. I want to see boxes lined up on this thing and be clicking on boxes. What up? You know what I mean? Oh man.
Oh yeah.
It's coming. Hey, see what I'm saying? This is what we're projecting. This is why we're taking this act. We're telling you exactly what we're going to see. And we don't have nobody watching right now, right? But we're talking, and look how excited we are. Look how good we are talking about what is going to happen that hasn't happened yet. This is exactly where you need to be, those of you watching. You're so excited, knowing what's going to happen before it actually happened, and feel good about it before it's even there yet.
Well, that was I think that's what the point was, and I lost it. I'm trying to talk about right now. But that's exactly what it is. It's like the podcast itself. We don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. We just know we got to show up. Here we are. We're here. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna talk. Right now, this is what it is, and it's pretty fucking cool.
Eventually, there'll be more people, and then you never know what's gonna happen after that. You only go as far as you can see.
Yeah, you just
once you get there, boom.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's have a podcast. Let's bullshit. Let's talk. And here it is, It's
we
like...
have no idea how long it's going to take. We have no idea how long it's going to take. There could be so many videos, people might take a year to catch up. You know what I mean? We don't know how long it's going to take yet.
And that's kind of a cool thing, too. You think about it, it's like, just take action. And for us, it's like, say, if you use this as an example, this could be 0 right now, but like, we have a catalog of 300 videos built up. Next thing you know, one of our videos goes viral because the information is so impactful, because we just catch one. And then, whoa, look, there's a back catalog of 300 different videos that have value as well. And guess what? Now they watch all those, and say each one of those has advertisements on it, and has the ad shit where they monetize it. Now you got 300. Now you got 300 videos generating ad revenue. Oh, it's a wrap, bro. Like, and people are binge watching our shit. You just don't even know.
See what I'm talking about?
You just have
more like thoughts are coming. More like thoughts are happening.
You just do something, and guess what? Again, that's the same thing. We just show up. We do what we do. Our intentions are in the right place. We want to add value. We want to help people. We're not in it for the money right now, or ever really. But I mean, at some point, it could turn into something substantial for us. And say it was the money thing, if that's what helps people digest and understand what the hell we're talking about. It's like, well, you just did it for free. It's like, oh yeah, and then 300 in, one pops. You go to that back catalog.
Man.
I think of that from the Russ standpoint. If you ever watch Russ, he's a rapper singer guy, right? He's independent, mixes masters, makes his own beats, did the whole thing, and then became a platinum fucking selling artist. And he kept putting his songs up on like TuneCore to go out to like all the streaming platforms, and he just kept putting them up. He says at some point, he goes, "Is that like 300 fucking songs?" And he goes, "And you sure? I was only making like $80 a month." He goes, "Now he's making $250,000, easily every fucking week or something like that. He's making some stupid ass money." But one pops off. He goes, "I have one song hit. My one song hits finally and blows up." He goes, "But I made, say, 100,000 a month off of this one song. But then I had a back catalog everybody could binge listen to that was fucking years worth of, like 5 years worth of fucking material." And he goes, "And next thing you know, man, these guys just fucking ate that shit up." He goes, "And all those paid me like millions, and next thing he's caking up." And he shows his financials on his Twitter. His TuneCore balances from song sales and streams, and it shows, $80 that month, December, 100 the next month, January 1st, 300, next month is 400, next month it's 500 that month, all the way up to like $250,000 a month, and you're like, and then that's an old ass post, but like, he goes, "I just wanted to be inspirational to show people, look, it was a slow build. I didn't just get to the million. It was like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now you made 800 a month, 1,400. He goes, to the point, it's like, $360,000 fucking dollars. He's made, like, you're like, holy shit, this guy's caking like that, like just, and he's like, I had a back catalog. So now that's why he goes, there's a spike from right when the song hit. It went from I'm making $250 a month to 16,000, and then the next month it was 100,000, because it's like boom, boom, because all of a sudden people knew about it. Then he had that whole back catalog, and so the same thing with us. It's like our intention is just to add value, as his was. I'm just going to keep putting out songs. I like making music. I want people to hear me. I think I have something to say. And the same thing with us. We put this stuff out, and you just don't know. And so how that parallels with everybody else and their dreams and goals, which is only one of ours, but just a small version of it. More or less, we said we were going to do something, and we did it, It's like, with whatever you're doing, don't expect fruits from it right away. Start down the path. Understand that it may be out there further, and you don't know how it's going to pivot later. I just know for a fucking fact, us having attention and a visual and a podcast can only turn into something good for us, especially if our only intention is to provide good. If we're not in here like trying to talk about, it's not like Drink Champs, which is still a cool show, or Be Real, smoke a pot in a fucking car, like where those might have some weird fucking repercussions, like if we were to try to get a job or something in our basic. Other guys are already stars, but it's like, we're adding nothing but value from a positivity standpoint. It's not niche. It's not based on culture. It's more positivity. And so that's all we're doing, is just every day pumping the fucking world up with. I mean, this goes to millions and billions of people. There's what 2 billion people on the internet. It's like, and this goes to all those people. You know what I mean? People have the chance to see this, and it's like that for me, man. That's why this podcast is so important. You know what I mean? It's that important. It's something that needs to be out there. And you don't know what that turns into. You can't deny that. You can always say, not having it's a smart idea, or having it. Like every week I go, oh, we got the podcast. I'm like, I'll be tired, or like, I'm really fucking getting some momentum on this video I'm editing. I need to fucking do this, but it's like, like the other week I'm carving pumpkins with the kids. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. Hurry up, let's get these things done. Let's do this thing. Everybody already dissipates. Cool. Get on the podcast. It's like it's understanding the importance of executing and getting whatever it is you're going for done, like we're doing. We don't know why, we don't know how it's going to work out.
We don't even know what we're going for this, which is super cool, and an amazing example to watch how it all unfolds, by the way. But we don't even know what we're going for.
Yet we're still taking action.
Yeah.
Most people have to believe in some heavy, hardcore, how's this going to pay me back thing before they'll even take any sort of action. And most people don't take action anyway, even if they knew it would bring them a whole fuck ton of money. A lot of people. Yeah, hey, Alaska is hiring right now. They'll pay you 30 fucking G's for 2 months of work. But you ain't showing up there. So so if what you want is money, Alaska's hiring, motherfucker. You go up there. The Bering Sea or whatever the hell that is up there. That's like, you people, you want money? Well, you can just go up there and fucking go on the deadliest catch or do whatever the hell you want. But most people won't even show up when they put it right in their face and tell them what it is, let alone just starting a podcast, spending shit tons of money to make it happen. I mean, I had to buy a new computer, fucking softwares, like input devices, mic. Well, I didn't have to buy this, I already owned it. But, all these things so I could have some sort of decent presence, and it's like, all for what fruits back, to invest in what, because I know I can't see it right now. I know I'm not smart enough to know how it works out. I'm just going to do it because I believe in it. I know it's something. I know I enjoy the information. I think other people should have it, but I don't know how it ends up benefiting me other than feeling good about giving out this information, and having that. I like that to be part of what I do. It makes me feel good. It doesn't feel like a chink in my whole brand or how I feel like I'm trying to portray myself. I feel like it adds value. You have a podcast, yep. Like even just, well, what are you doing right now? You're on a call. And yeah, I'm on a call right now. Doing what? It's like I'm doing my podcast. Like you go there, be normal, and move on.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it is just, you have to have that belief system, and then it is ask yourself, what are you doing? What is your process? What are your processes every day that is at least adding some sort of value towards where you're going? Or then again, ask yourself, is this what I really want? A lot of people, you got to get past your mind though, and you got to get over the Mount Everest of the mind, and that's why Will pumps this belief system so hard, because if you can't get over your mind, the action is irrelevant. You'll never even get to that point. If you don't have the belief system, you can't even get to the action. You've got to believe it.
If you don't believe it, you won't even see what you want. You won't even see it. The saying technically is, I'll believe it when I see it.
But you won't see it if you don't believe it.
And people think that they'll never see it. You know what I mean?
They want somebody else to bring them the proof that it's going to work. And it's like, no, you're the one who has to believe it blindly and go do it. It's pretty heavy, man. It's big deal. It's like a lot of people will just literally they want stuff, but you know, you got a lot of things to overcome. Again, we've talked about it on past podcasts where it's overcoming your mind and all these, you know, I can't, I you know, I won't, I'm not able to do it. All these roadblocks in your brain, you know, that say your parents might have told you. My parents told me one time, I'm a pretty good artist. I can draw pretty good. It's like I remember drawing a fucking badass picture, man. I showed it to my stepdad. It was like Venom, the comic book character Venom. It's like the bad Spider-Man. And I draw him, and he's all badass. He's leaned back, he's all buff, and he looks just dope as shit. He got his mask off, and showed it to my stepdad, and he looks at it and goes, Pfft. His fucking anatomy's all off, dude. What the hell? Like, you'll never become a comic book artist, man. I mean, it's so easy to become a comic book artist, at least at the level I would draw every day, nonstop, all day. Went through all of school from elementary all the way to high school and never fucking did homework. All I did was draw every day, fucking nonstop, you know. But like literally, you go through those things where people tell you, you'll never do that. I wanted to be a football player. I wanted to be a bodybuilder as a kid. And all those I legitimately wanted to do. I played football, and I actually worked out all the time, so I did want to be big. And it was like, you'll never your body style will never make it to where you can be a bodybuilder. You'll never be a football player. Like, it was like, people grow up with those kind of things and they believe them. I was fortunate enough to, when I was told that stuff, I thought, this guy's a fucking idiot. It's like, he's like lying ass motherfucker, because I believe in what the fuck I'm doing, regardless of what everybody else thinks. But that's what people have to overcome too. There's a lot of that stuff. But if you say you're wanting it and you're out there talking that shit, you got to literally go, what am I doing in my processes daily to get there? And that includes making sure you have the right mindset for it every day. You start your day with your right mindset, and you set a goal action-wise as well to apply yourself towards your goal. You know, your action can't only be to have a great mindset. You know, you got to understand mindset. There's full circle. There's a process. Like for me, my goal is to run a fucking solid label that's release artists. That's also to have things fund me, which would be funnels and other aspects, and to have some sort of infrastructure. You'll see a presence in a brand. And so every day I apply myself towards that, you know, and that's releasing, say, AWACS. And so somebody would see, man, if I went into the fold of the S&D fucking ENT piece, wow, they come in, record, mix, master, video, and put out your song, and you can see it visually like that. And then when this COVID shit's over, then all of a sudden see, hey, we'll do shows and blah, blah, blah. There'll be a learning curve there. But, you know, it's like you can see, oh, shit, I see where they're doing. And so, like, for me, I'm doing something every day towards that. You know, that's a video coming out, you know, so somebody can see, hey, I see, man, that's the shit. That's what they're doing over there. You know what I mean? I don't sit there and go, I think I'm going to just chill today, because today would have been real easy just to lay down and watch my TV, because I worked all day, and then come home and lay around, watch TV, watch the Chappelle Show, watch the whole season. It's like, no, I got to grind, 8-9 hours on fucking my video editing shit, and then get up in here and fucking get on a podcast. You know what I mean? It's like nonstop, you know, and you got to keep it going. You know, at some point you keep going with your process in the right direction, shit will start coming to you, you know. And that's like this podcast. We keep going, man, something that's gonna happen, you know what I mean? I watched this guy, Wishmaster. He went out of the game. He's in the industry for a long time, making beats for like Nelly and those guys, and he stepped out the game. He started doing, like, he has his own school in like Tennessee or some shit like that, and it's his own like beat making school. So everybody's got a laptop, a little MIDI keyboard, and some little speakers, and and headphones and shit, and they all have a classroom setting, and he teaches about beat making and shit. And he's making money off that, and then you know, eventually gets back in the game selling beats through funnels. But like all of a sudden, his homies from Strange Music, which is where like Tech Nine and Brother Lynch Hung are from, see them out there with their ads are popping up in their fucking Facebook feeds and shit. And they're like, man, what the fuck? Is that the Wishmaster we remember? Hit them up on a DM and like, yo, what's up? And it's like, they're like, they appreciated the fact that he's out getting it on his own and working and trying to get that money. And they're like, what are you doing out here on the internet and shit? We see you working, send us some packs. Next thing you know, he starts working with fucking Strange Music. You know, they're sending us some beats, man. Next thing you know, he's in the Strange Music camp. He started out making $4,000 a month, you know, on his little funnel. His funnel went up to 9,000. I remember watching an interview and he goes, yeah, I'm making 9 now on it, you know. And now he's making 20. Well, him getting with Strange Music, he told one of the rappers out of Strange, like, yo, if you spit like a hook and some bars, and we did a song where you just had the hook on each one of them, and I made the beat, we could make a funnel with that. That funnel went from 20K. You see, his funnels go in September. He made $136,000 in 1 month because he got with the Strange Music guy, sold a 5-pack of beats with 5 hooks. So now you have to say that Strange Music artist, the famous guy, whoever he is, not famous enough for me to know, is on the song. So these little rapper kids go, fuck yeah, I got a hook by fucking so-and-so. So think about if back in the days, or for us, like say, you know, 50 Cent gets with some beat maker and it spits a hook on it, and you had 5 songs with hooks from 50 Cent that were like original, nothing that was released, you'd be like copping that shit all day. But because he put his stuff out originally, next thing you know, his relationship started to build. He didn't know how that was going to work out, that he'd go from $4,000 a month, which was really zero at first, but say 4,000, to all of a sudden here he made 136,000. You see him buying boats and shit now on his Instagram. He's like, yeah, I just got me a new boat, got this shit. Like he's like setting himself up, you know. But you just don't know what things are going to turn out to be. You just got to start put one foot in front of the other. You know what I mean? And that can be belief system. Your belief, one foot in front of the other, as far as working on yourself to get your belief system right. I had to do it myself. Break down everything I know, rethink it, relook at how I think, and then, you know, I already fortunately had action in my blood, you know, but actually put that in line with my belief system, and then one foot in front of the other, you know what I mean? And just, you got to blindly just keep going for it, you know? What's going to be really cool about a lot of these podcasts is, like, say in a year from now, looking back on them and then seeing all these things we're talking about now come to fruition later. You know, that's the cool shit, you know.
That is gonna be when, man.
I was just watching something where the guy was.
If it ain't popping by then, it will be.
Right. Yeah, it's like I was watching this guy and he was talking about how cool it was for him to look back at times when he was talking about getting something done, and then years later he goes, I love the fact to be able to go back and look at this thing. It's like me talking about how I was going to do this stuff and then actually did it, you know. For who the fuck it was like a rapper. So like literally all this shit they were talking about, I'm going to do this, that, and then you know, however many years later, like look back and go like, oh, that's so dope. There's actually a video where I was talking about all these things he's going to do, and people were like, you're fucking crazy. Oh, it was Kanye West. He was talking about like, it's so dope to be able to be like in there, I'm going to do this, that, and people are like, man, whatever, motherfucker, you're $50 million in debt. 4 years later, he's got $5 billion net worth. $5 billion, from 50 million in the fucking rears to $5 billion. And he goes, I just love the fact that I got to look back at all that shit I was talking, like, I'm going to do this, that. I hope to do this. I'm going to build this. You know, he's building like self-sustaining housing and planting systems and infrastructures for cities. And he's doing a lot of crazy big shit. But like, he goes, I talk all that shit and people thought, this guy's fucking crazy. All he does is talk wild as fuck. Like he's going to do this. Oh, he's like, so. And he goes, the next thing you know, I love to look at those old interviews and be like, fuck you, you're right. This has actually already happened now, you know, like I thought that's kind of like something that's cool with this. We're talking about it, you know, in a year, you know. I mean, it's only going to be a couple months before it starts, but to see what it yields in the next year, that's going to be crazy. It's this constant constant movement towards where you're trying to be. You know, you're putting your momentum forward, one foot in front of the other. You know, if you've ever done it, like walk down a long road and you're like, fuck, that's a long way to walk. Then you start putting one foot in front of the other and you're just like, you go off on a thought, and then you kind of look back after like a second and you think, and you're like, oh shit, man, I'm fucking gone a long ways already. This is badass, you know? Like you can't believe it. Just it's every step you take adds up and compiles on yourself. It's that compound interest type thing, you know?
Yeah.
You work tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. You open or close?
I don't want to talk about that. Are we gonna close this one? I don't want to talk about that right now. Do you want to close this one out?
All right, yeah, guys. So if you're checking it out, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Typically, this happens Thursdays at 8. Maybe a little late sometimes, trying to just get the technical bugs out. But
this is a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Tune in for the next. Also, comment, and let us know what you want us to talk about. I mean, we got all types of angles on everything.